it's almost a world-stopping question. It stops my world, even though Bonnie asked me about a week ago. I've been thinking ever since. And I would have to say that from a woman's perspective, a woman's movement perspective, I guess I got a feminist consciousness when I was 15 years old, and the UN had the International Women's Year for the Disabled, or Women's Year. And I still have the why not button. But in that year I couldn't take shop. So, as my way of rebellion, I actually became the entire drafting class, and the boys would pass me their books and I would do all their drafting. So, that was my first, I guess, feminist act. And it was really funny because it was just sort of my way of rebelling. It was the only way I could. And anyways, then I guess my other greatest exclusion was the day that I had to write Bonnie that I failed the gynecological exam because I couldn't get up on the table. And that was probably one of the greatest exclusion moments. The time I was in it, I was very upset. I can laugh about it now, and so that was the start of my recovery with the joke, was that this is the day I failed the gynecological exam. And I think inclusion, I guess for me, is more of a feeling. So rather than single out particular examples of things, inclusion for me is when I'm not conscious of my disability. So that my disability is accommodated and I feel just like everybody else. So if I'm taking the airplane and I kind of am on the plane and off the plane, or in the taxi or out of the taxi, and I don't feel like a huge fuss is being made, or that there's a huge rigmarole about it, and I just feel like I got on and off, and even though that way was adapted, I feel included. I feel included when I'm just a person who got from A to B without fanfare. And I think that those are the times and the places I feel most included. I'm always personally challenged in feminism. And that's because I was severely abused by my mother. So I never really feel included. And it's been a challenge as leader of the feminist movement when I deal on an individual level with women's anger. That's going to be one of my biggest problems. And it's my biggest challenge. And so far I've managed, but that's the one that's the hardest. And I think somehow we have to be able to use that energy as a momentum for the positive change that we can make.